Welcome to another edition of Play It Through, and on this edition it's Time Lord, brought to us by Milton Bradley. Time Lord is kind of a cryptic action title, where your goal is to collect these time orbs in each one of the levels, and then complete the stage. You must beat the game within the time limit, as there's a calendar kind of ticking down in the corner. Every 6 seconds it goes to the next day, so you have about 36 minutes in order to complete the game. So here we go with Time Lord for the NES. After pressing start in the main menu, we're going to jump into the first level. You get told pretty much what your goal is, which is to capture the 5 orbs in each one of the time zones and then eliminate the aliens. Basically, there's a boss that we have to deal with in each one of the stages as well. For level number 1, we're going to start heading over to the left side. Grab the first orb on the bottom, and then jump up and grab the second orb. The first level just kind of gives you the orbs, basically just, tell you what you're supposed to do in the game. But after this, they get cryptic and harder to find for sure. Grabbing the 5th orb, you've already completed level number 1, and we're doing our first bit of time traveling. Level number 2 takes place in England in 1250 AD. As soon as we begin the stage, we're going to head over to the right side and jump to this platform. Collect all these mushrooms that appear. After collecting enough of the mushrooms, an orb will appear. Once you have the first orb, head over to the right. You can grab some health right there. Drop on down here so you can grab the package that contains a weapon. Every one of the levels you go to has a package that you'll be able to find that contains at least one weapon that you'll be able to use in that particular stage, though unfortunately you lose it after that. For this orb, you need to stand in the right spot. Once you stand in the specific spot, it begins to lower and then you can grab it. The next orb's very easy, just jump on these columns. After you jump onto them, the orb will appear on the top one. Work your way over to the left side here, dealing with these knights, either attacking them or you can jump over them. Eventually you'll start to see dragons appear. What your goal is with these dragons is to get a red one to show up. Just keep moving until you make it to about the end, and once you've made it there, if you haven't gotten the red dragon to appear, head backwards. Get the dragon to kind of spawn by moving back and forth, and just getting these dragons to spawn over and over again, till the one you need shows up. When he does show up though, don't attack him. Instead, just wait for him to float over top, and he'll drop the orb to you. Then head to the left in order to face off against a big dragon boss. I'm going to get up into the upper right corner here and start attacking by moving back and forth. If you time it correctly, you can just keep moving back and forth and hit the dragon without him being able to hit you. It's definitely awkward for sure, as pretty much everything in this game ends up being, but once the boss is taken care of, we're moving on to the next level. The next level takes place in the Wild West. As we begin, we're going to head over to the right side, deal with this guy right here. Do a jump kick and you can get over the animals trying to chase you down right there. Climb on top of these barrels to get on top of the floor and grab this package, which will give you the gun. Take out these enemies and climb up these barrels and shoot at the orb. It's a little bit difficult to get the shot you need, or sometimes even get on the barrel, just because of the way the game works, but what you need is the orb on screen and be able to jump towards it. And what you do is you keep shooting at it and you float basically at the orb. It's extremely weird how it works, but that's the only way I know how to get that orb. Continue along the bottom here, dealing with the enemies. Thankfully the gun is actually pretty useful for dealing with most of them. Here's a secondary weapon that we end up getting that can help you out as well. climb up the barrels and continue along the left side here as we're using this gun to take out the enemies. You can grab some health on the end as well. Once down here, go to the building next door and kind of go against the side of it. You may end up finding a hidden orb. If it's not there, it's going to be in the next section with another spot where you can walk across the building. Next up though, you'll come across the next orb that you can see moving up and down depending upon where you're moving. Once again, you need to kind of get it into your line of sight and then shoot at it. And once you're able to hit it, you freeze it. So keep shooting at it, freezing it, and then get close enough in order to grab it. Here we're going to climb on up. You'll see the next orb above. What you need to do is take out this guy first, and then jump up near the left side window. And this will allow you to do a kick up to the top and get to where the orb is. It's a little bit difficult. You got to time it just right, but it does end up working, and then you can drop off and face off against the boss. For this boss, we're going to stay against the right wall here and just move up and down, back and forth. It's difficult. Sometimes you may end up getting hit by his bullets, but this seems to be mostly a decent strategy for being able to keep hitting him while also avoiding most of the damage you would take from him. Just moving up and down, back and forth, until you're able to hit the last hit on him and be able to get that 5th power orb for the stage and move on to the next level. Like I said, no matter what, even if you're really careful moving and all, it can still end up hitting you with at least 1 or 2 shots. Next up, we're heading to the Caribbean in 1650 AD. We're going to start heading over to the right side. You can do some jump kicks to deal with the birds if you want, or just run underneath of them. Drop on down here to find the package that contains the sword. That is a very useful weapon here. Then work your way over to the left side. With the enemies, just keep swinging. Even though they're walking into you, you'll be able to hit them instead and negate their damage and be able to take them out. Be very careful over here on the left side. There's a lot of enemies to deal with, and what you need to do is hit this bell. Every time you hit it, an item comes out, and eventually the orb will end up falling from it. Once you have the orb, head on back down to the next level. Watch out for more of these scurrying crabs back and forth, scuttling crabs that are very annoying. Here you'll see a flashing orb. To deal with this, we're going to head over to the right side. Deal with all these enemies if you need to. You'll come to an eel. Take out the eel, swing your sword from a little distance, and once the eel is taken care of, backtrack just a little bit, and that orb that was shocked before is now perfectly safe to pick up. Head over to the right side, you'll come across another one of these orbs that we can't quite grab right now because of the flashing. So we have to be careful, keep working our way over to the right side. Don't jump on top of there to get that health, you'll just end up getting hit by the thing inside of the rope. Thankfully there's extra health right after that though. Here you gotta play a little bit of Donkey Kong and jump over some barrels, working your way to the top. Once up here, work your way over to the left, you'll come to some more barrels, be careful of them. And what we need to do is jump down here and kind of like hold down and right at the same time, just right, and you'll be able to grab the orb. It may take several attempts in order to actually grab that orb, but there you go, that's how you actually end up getting it. From there though, head over to the left side, drop on down, and you'll find a couple of eels. Take them out. Grab the package if you want another weapon, the throwing knives, and then drop on down the hole, which puts you right where that other orb was. Now that we've taken out the eels, we're able to grab the orb. From that point, you just gotta head back and work your way back up to the top of the ship. Once again, dealing with the barrels and such. If you do some throwing of your weapon, or swinging of your weapon, you can negate the barrels hitting you. As you're throwing a weapon, and they cannot hurt you. So that's the reason why you're able to survive a lot of times with enemies inside of you. When you're swinging, they can't hurt you. Whichever strategy you prefer, get past the barrels and then head over to the right here for the next boss battle. Here you get to face a giant clam that comes flying towards you. Every time you hit it, it does close back up and you can get it to just slow down its roll. You gotta keep moving back and forth just like before. A lot of times I'll wait towards it getting to me and then hit the attack button at that right moment so that when it does attack, it can go through me and I can walk to the other side. It can be hard to actually just straight up avoid the clam because he takes up a lot of space on screen. You pretty much gotta go all the way to the very top or all the way to the very bottom of the screen to make sure that there's enough space between you and him and the bottom or top of the screen so you can get past. That's why I think throwing your weapon and walking through them may end up being more efficient. Once you deliver the final hit though to the clam, we're moving on to the next stage. Now we're in 1943 in World War II in the trenches here. Basically, we're going to see a orb right away at the beginning that's flashing, so we have to go down into the trench below here. We have our gun that we can thankfully take out these soldiers. You need to take out a few of them, not a ton, just a few, and after taking out several of them, you can go back up to the top, and that first one of the orbs that you can get is now free to grab. Climbing upstairs and even grabbing onto ropes to climb up is difficult in this game. With that first orb in our possession, head back down inside of the trench. Deal with more enemies along the way as you work your way across to the right. And climb up the next ladder. From here, then jump over to the right side and land on this platform. And jump between these platforms, being careful of the fish enemies coming out of the water to get to the next orb. The orb moves quickly back and forth, so just wait for it to move and then grab it as soon as it stops moving. Don't try to chase it down. From there, head back out and go on to the surface level. You'll have a few soldiers to deal with as you work your way over to the right side. Here we're going to grab these packages that fall from the sky. One of them eventually will have grenades, and we need the grenades in order to get the next one of the orbs. Eventually we get a hold of the grenades, and we're going to drop on down. Then you need to throw the grenades over to the right in order to hit this orb and bring it closer to you. It's finicky when you're able to actually hit it, but you can hit it, and you can get it close enough so that you can end up grabbing a hold of the third orb here. Climb on up the next ladder, head over to the right side. Drop on down, and when you do drop down, you'll grab a gas mask, as well as get the orb to appear. So what you need to do is quickly get back out while you still have the gas mask, work your way back around, and grab the orb by dropping back down into the gas-filled room and quickly getting through it before the gas mask runs out. If it does run out, just quickly keep moving until you get out of the area. Once done with that, head back to the surface, watch out for the giant tank, and grab the health before facing off against the boss. Use your grenades to help you out. Here we're going to be moving once again back and forth, just up and down, slowly hitting this giant soldier every single time we get the opportunity to. When he gets close, move away, and then continue the process, throwing the grenades at him and moving slowly up and down, hitting him as he walks as well. It can be really difficult to get past him because he takes up so much room and moves quickly, but you could hit him and go through at the same time when you're throwing, but sometimes it can be difficult to get that to go off. Take some damage if need be by going through him, and then continue the process until he's taken care of, and then grab that 5th and final orb for the level. We're moving on though now to the final stage of the game. As we begin the level, start heading off over to the right side. We don't have to worry about collecting any power orbs this time around. See this little robot over to the left? It throws up objects, and if you collect enough of them, he'll disappear and turn into a weapon. It's the only way you're able to get weapons for this level, is here, and then there's another one of these robots a little bit farther in. I only need the one weapon, so I just gotta kind of avoid the other soldiers that are all here, and stick around long enough for this robot to give me enough items so it can transform. It's a little bit annoying, but then again, pretty much everything in this game is cryptic, so no surprise. Once I now have my weapon in hand, I'm going to continue over to the right side, climbing up and dealing with this soldier from a distance. Just keep firing and moving for the few soldiers that you'll have to deal with along the way before climbing up the set of crates. Right here, get on this step of the crate and then start punching. Destroy the 2 flying little robot guys because they will chase you the whole time here and consistently fire at you. They're just very annoying. So make sure you at least take out those 2 first. Here we have another one of those robots and get the other weapon, but I don't need it. I'm just going to stick with what I have. Keep working my way over to the left side, and it's time for the final boss. I'm going to get far away and keep jumping and firing at the boss, trying to avoid any projectiles. Moving up and down is also a nice strategy like before, being able to fire and his projectiles missing you. As the second form begins, keep on attacking. If he gets too close, the best strategy is just to start punching. Just mash the punch button as quick as you can. You're going to end up getting hit. Unfortunately, I do lose a life here, but as soon as I come right back, I can keep going right into the punching and finish off the boss, and then sit back and enjoy the one-screen ending in the Time Lord. Yep, there you have it, the ending of the Time Lord. We're going to go ahead and put in our initials as well. This is definitely a game I've always wanted to complete. As a kid, I had ended up playing it and never could get very far, so playing it and learning it and such for this video has been at least somewhat interesting, though it's definitely a game that I can't really recommend running out and checking out if you've never have before. But with everything said, that's going to wrap up this episode of Play It Through. Thank you for watching, and of course, I hope you enjoyed.